I'm going to guess that this isn't going to show my YouTube chat, unfortunately. Well, the good news is that it looks like it's streaming in portrait mode, which is what I was after. Hopefully it pops up in, I don't know. I decided to do it portrait because there was a lot of, I think there's just a lot more traffic when streaming in portrait mode. What's up, Liam? I'm doing all right. How are you? Congratulations on being the very first chatter. I also have no idea how quickly this YouTube chat like shows me the chat like after people send stuff. So sorry if there's like a huge delay, but what's up, Rolly? And Thomas, I'm doing terrible, but thanks for asking. Well, that's not good. But that's kind of the point of the stream, Liam. I'd like to be of assistance. Tell me why you're doing terrible, and perhaps we can shed some light on something. I don't know. I'm just another dude that has opinions. I do feel like most people nowadays, especially in the rising generation, are technically doing terrible as well. And I don't like it. I do know what Roblox is, yes. What is this channel about? And if it's religious, what denomination or religion or faith is this? You know, I'm still pretty hesitant to call it a religious channel, though I am a very religious person, and I am currently a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Do I play Roblox? No, I don't. I didn't think anybody did these days. Isn't Roblox on its way out? Hopefully. I've only heard bad things happening because of that game. What are you into, KLN? What channels are you looking for? My dad and my stepdad left me, and 10 of my animals died, and everyone hating on me, and my family blames me for my dad and stepdad leaving. What's up, INS? I need Robux, but nobody is not giving me, so can you please give me some? No. Liam, that sounds like a tough situation. My dad and my stepdad. Wait, your dad and your stepdad left you? And 10 of my animals died, and everyone hating on me, and my family blames me for my dad and stepdad leaving. Like, they left you alone, or like... I'm trying to figure out... I hear a lot about, like, people getting kicked out by their parents or step-parents, but I don't know how often they leave their own home to their kid, but I'm not saying that that's not a thing. Do you believe your family? Your family blames you. Do you believe them? Why do they say that's your fault? What's up, Rena? How is my day going? You know, it's honestly not horrible. This is the first time I have attempted to do this, and it's something I always have actually kind of wanted to do. And depending on how these streams go, like, I don't know. My goal is to spend my time making a difference, and I think most people think this is kind of a stupid way to do it. But I really don't care anymore. Terrible at explaining stuff. I meant that my dad left, and then I had a stepdad, but he left as well. I see. I see. Are you like, what is upsetting to you? Like, are you upset that they left? Or are you upset that everybody's blaming you for them leaving? Or both? And then and again, like, why do you feel like everybody's blaming you? I mean, are they giving an explanation as to why they think that it's your fault, or are they just saying it's your fault and not providing any explanation as to why? Because that would be toxic. Gotta make sure I stay in camera, bro. My chair is so tipsy. I'm upset because they left and they just say it's my fault. Is that what your dad and stepdad are saying? Liam doesn't want to talk about it anymore. Well, I respect that. And just remember that you're in control of your own happiness. If you rely on the approval of even your family members to make you happy, I don't think you have the right perspective on life. The only person that has power over whether you're happy or not is you at the end of the day. It just takes some thinking and some courage, I think. How old is Liam? That's a good question. I don't know, but I do think that we're not going to be talking much more about that. You know, I was also thinking about like doing a call format, but I'm almost too nervous to do that. But I wonder if I just got over it that I'm 11. Yeah, bro, you got a future ahead of you. Like one thing is like if people are blaming an 11-year-old for this stuff, like that's kind of wild. I wouldn't really care. If there's somebody, how do I say this? If there's somebody that's like blaming an 11-year-old for all their problems and like the fact that they, well, I don't know. I wouldn't put very much weight into I would not rely on that person to make me happy. My respect would not be very high for a person that is like all my problems are caused because of my 11-year-old son. Because that's not true. But yeah, I wonder if I just got over it that like a call format would be more I don't know, engaging. I actually don't know if I care how engaging it is, but maybe just more personable. I think people communicate better, you know, in real time than like writing stuff in the chat. But I don't know. Maybe one day. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So what else, chat? I'm literally on here just waiting for something interesting to talk about. I've had a lot on my mind. I'll let you all know that like a couple weeks ago, I fasted for 72 hours. Like 3 straight days of no food, no distractions, like no phone, no TV, no, I don't know, music, like no headphones, no, really nothing. And no talking. I didn't talk for 3 days. And it was, that makes you really introspective, bro. Today is India Independence Day. Can you wish India a happy Independence Day? Well, happy Independence Day, India. Wait, can you actually tell me about that? Who did India get independence from? And when did that happen? Were you ever big into social media before this? I got a decent following on Twitch. I streamed a game called Brawl Stars. And I have since quit the game completely. From the British in 1947. Was that like the revolution that Gandhi led? Or am I just like way off? I remember thinking, I remember a few years ago that I thought, me and my buddies thought that Gandhi lived like centuries ago. And then we found out that he actually like lived relatively close to now. Hi, Moxie. India got independence from Britain August 15th, 1947. Oh, it is what Gandhi led. And it was like a peaceful revolution, was it not? Gandhi's nonviolence. That's so dope, dude. I actually want to learn more about that. Like, the fact that anyone pulled off a nonviolent revolution, like gained independence, is like, is that not super underappreciated, bro? How do you do that? Oh, man, that's awesome. And 1947. 1947. I can't believe that. Am I British? No. Do I sound British? I'm an American, so I can appreciate independence from the British as well. Tomorrow is my international cricket debut. Oh, like the game cricket. Wait, that's like the #1 sport in India, is it not? You're probably from India as well. Suraj is an English name. Well, Surge. Pronounced Surge. Thanks, Chidora. I actually don't know if I'm saying anybody's name right. He tried 3 different movements, gradually ramping up efforts and taking back movement when it went violent, so it was very strategic too. So he's just a mastermind. I'm going to see if I can learn a little bit more about that. Hi, Bella. Thanks for the joking compliment. And hello, Hannah. Can you say hi, Nolan? Yeah, I can. Hi, Nolan. Threw up after taking a dump. I'm sorry to hear that, Liam. As if things were not already terrible. But dude, you're in charge of your own happiness, Liam. You're probably too young to understand that, but just remember that. It'll come in handy one day. My sister said you were cute. Well, thank you, Bella's sister. I watched your Twitch. Oh, man. I feel like I deleted almost everything off of my Twitch. I went on there and tried to leave no trace, but maybe I didn't do a good job. If you tell about India and your thoughts about India, I will like and subscribe to your channel. Dude, honestly, I wish I had more to say about India. I don't know much about it. I've heard That's our family from the Midwest that started saying it that way. It was almost certainly pronounced Seraj originally. Wow, I didn't even know that. Why was there so much beef about changing the pronunciation back to what it's supposed to be? That's oh, we're stupid, dude. I didn't hear because my 6 siblings are screaming. Dude, I have 6 siblings too. Can you give my sister your number? Probably not. Sorry. I wish I knew more about India, dude. I don't know much about it. All I know, dude, I'm being totally honest. My image of India is that it's extremely overcrowded and dirty, which I don't know if that's just like an intentional way that the media is portraying it to Americans, but that's all I know about it. It was a significant moment for me when India passed up China in population. And that made me that still is just like, dude, there's so many people in India. And that's all I really know about it. The fact that you guys gained independence in 1947 is still kind of boggling my mind right now. I'm going to ask ChatGPT, were there 3 different movements by Gandhi in order to gain independence? Siraj. Oh. I see. Can you send $100 to me? Dude, I wish I had $100 to send. By the way, I'm Welsh. Dude, it's got to be like the middle of the night for you. Or maybe it's really early in the morning. I don't know what time it is there. And they all work in customer service. Yeah, that's the running joke here as well. So is that a no? My sister don't give you her number? Yeah, that's a no. I'm married, so my wife probably wouldn't be fond of that. If you're referring, here's what ChatGPT says. If you're referring to Gandhi's major Indian independence campaigns, you can reasonably group them into 3 major mass movements. The non-cooperation movement was number 1. He urged Indians to withdraw cooperation from British rule. Boycotts of British goods, schools, courts, and government institutions. It was called off after the Chowri Chowra incident, when protesters killed police officers. Okay, so yikes. Civil disobedient movement. It's about 2 a.m. in India. Oh, wow. Well, I was wondering about the Welsh, what time it was in Wales. Civil disobedient movement began with Gandhi's famous Salt March in 1930. Indians deliberately violated British laws, especially the Salt Laws. What were the Salt Laws? Gandhi's goal was increasingly explicit: Indian self-government independence. This included the Salt Satyagraha and other acts of non-violent resistance, and then the Quit India movement in 1942. Gandhi and the Indian National Congress demanded that Britain leave India immediately. Gandhi's famous slogan was "Do or die." That sounds kind of violent to me. British authorities responded with mass arrests, including Gandhi, and most Congress leadership. The movement was heavily suppressed, but it demonstrated how difficult it had become for Britain to govern India without Indian cooperation. There was also the Khilafat movement, which Gandhi strongly supported. Oh, it's not counted as one of his. And there's an interesting progression between them. Gandhi moved from withdrawing cooperation with British institutions to actively breaking British laws to ultimately demanding the complete British withdrawal from India. So he was just like super patriotic, dude. Like, I don't know. That's kind of dope. I will cry if I learn about our independence. Man, I've shed some tears in the past few months learning about our own independence. They had monopoly on salt manufacturing. So that will be soft breaking of British exploitative law. Third was during World War II, so bit aggressive. I see. But he got arrested, dude. Like, that's kind of dope. He was just that patriotic that it actually, like, worked out for him. Pro Edit. Welcome to the stream. I am Turkish. Holy moly, dude. I'm outnumbered. I'm an American and I'm outnumbered in this chat, I feel like. Had your lunch? What do you mean you had my lunch? I don't know what that means. And tell what's the time. Like, what time it is here? It's 4:20 p.m. Also, after getting independence and I'm assuming that actually says radical, Hindu nationalist murdered him within a year. Oh my gosh, are you serious? Was Gandhi not Hindu? That's crazy, bro. Kai, are you Indian? You know a lot about Indian history. I'm assuming that you are Indian. He was, but he was secular. I see. Kai is Indian. Do you guys like living in India? Do you live anywhere near Birmingham, Alabama? I live in St. Louis, so I'd say that's relatively close. I could probably get to Birmingham in a day. I live close to Himalayas, which is very scenic, not gonna lie. Are you serious? Dude, that's dope. Welcome to the Himalayas. So do you go to the Himalayas often? I grew up near Zion National Park, which is like world-renowned national park, if I'm not mistaken. And I probably only went to it like one time. That's quite a clip. Did I misunderstand? Is it not Alabama? No, AL is Alaska. No, AK is Alaska. Bro, I don't know. Let's see India and talk about the country and don't say dirty. I went like a few times. What languages? I only speak English, if that's what you're asking me. I went like a few times. So is that what you like? Like what do you like? Man. How do I ask this? What do you feel like people what do you feel like people misunderstand about India? Like Chidura has made it clear that it is not dirty. I feel like I know that like nobody would live there if it was as bad as some of the media portrays it to be. So I'm wondering like what are the other misconceptions? Man, I'm from Russia. Sometimes I watch news from UK and Europe. Do you really have such big problems with migrants? It really depends on who you ask. And I feel like the media would never totally be accurate on how big or small the problem would be. Like anybody that wants to make it seem like it's a huge problem would make it seem like it's a huge problem. And anybody that would want to make it seem like it isn't a problem would also be successful in doing that. So it really just depends on who you're watching. That being said, my personal opinion, I think it is getting problematic. I think it's getting problematic. I believe a lot of like the Nick Shirley stuff and how much fraud is going on, and I think that the migration like the immigration problem is interlinked with that. But at the same time, there's a lot of like innocent immigrants that I don't know, need refuge. And it's like, how do you balance that, dude? How do you balance that perfectly? It's kind of impossible. It's funny that you asked, like, it's funny because while I say that I feel like there is an immigration issue, I also spent like a year like working at like doing volunteer work at like a welcome center for Afghanis, people from Afghanistan. So like, you know, I believe that people need refuge, dude. I believe that there are a lot of people that need a home because their countries are in shambles. But I also believe that there's a lot of people taking advantage of that fact and simultaneously causing a big problem here in America. Was sliding through short streams and I stopped as I heard your voice. Well, thanks, Kai. I appreciate it. Everywhere has problems with migrants except the places nobody wants to go. Every person in Canada is now an Indian in sandals. I have heard there are a lot of Indians in Canada. But that's kind of true, Snowden. I kind of agree with that. India is too good, and it feels like heaven on earth. And once search about Hydira bad and tell me your reaction, please. Hydira? Wait, what is that? So Chitara's got some Indian pride. I respect that. A show, and I never comment on. Wait. And I never comment on have yours. That's got to be a typo. I'm old school, 48 years old, and not really a big fan of social media, but it can be addicting. Yeah, dude, I hear you, bro. I hear you. It's ironic because I'm like, I want to try to rid the short form content from my life, honestly. But then here I am streaming in a short form space. Here I am on social media, you know. It's like becoming like the same thing as money, dude. It's like social media is becoming like this necessary evil. Like we've become so reliant on it that you like can't really function in society without it. Thank you for an answer. UK is great, and you have to be who you are, not another third country. Yeah, I've only been to the. I can't even say I've been to the UK. I flew. I had a connecting flight through London, so that was the most UK experience that I got personally. They had good sushi though. I would say 10% of cities are polluted, but other than that, it's clean. 10%. Yeah, see, I feel like that is more accurate. That seems more realistic to me because government mismanages cities and most voters live in villages. So I will not say it's 100% clean, but it's easy to create bad image because they get examples from 20% polluted areas. I know, like I feel like you could easily do the same thing with America. Like there are so many places in America that you could just go to and get footage that is just, it looks like an absolute trash hole. And then go online and be like, yeah, this is America, dude. It's awful. But that's not at all an accurate depiction of what it is. You not searched about Hyderabad. See pics and tell me your reaction, please. Okay. All right. I'm going to Google it. It's a city in India. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going through pictures. Here, let's see if I can put it up here. Little window capture. What? Okay, whatever. Here are the Indian. Oops, that's me. Here are the pictures of Hyderabad. Hyderabad. I honestly have no idea how you even say it, but I mean, it's got some pretty cool infrastructure. Can't deny that, but that's kind of, I mean, looks like a pretty solid place. Wow. I think it's quite beautiful. It's weird. Like some places look pretty rural, and then other places here like look very, very dense and populated. But it kind of looks pretty luxurious, not gonna lie. Anyway. You know the Taj Mahal in Agra? Oh yeah, everybody knows about the Taj Mahal. That's like the only thing that that every American knows about India is the Taj Mahal. You will find good and bad example both for India, but 30 to 40% of people lack civil sense that I agree with. Don't look nearby area of Char Minar in Hyderabad. Okay, I will stray away from it. So are most people like Hindu has got to be the major religion in India. But are most people like practicing Hindus, or are people just more so very, very casual and not very religious at all? I almost feel like that's how China is. But again, I don't know anything about China. From what I've heard, China seems like Buddhism is like the Chinese religion, but in general, people in China just aren't very religious. And I wonder if India is the same, or if like almost everybody is very Hindu. I don't know if that makes sense. If I tell about India, it never ends. So tell about your country. Oh, yeah. Man, I don't know. What do you want to know about my country? You ask me what you want to know about my country, and I'll tell you. 70 to 80% Hindus practice Hinduism, like going to temple, like 20% not so religious. So how often do you go to the temple? Like, what's the temple for? Is there like a weekly service, or do you just kind of come and go as you please or whenever you feel like it? And if so, like how often do people go to the temple? Where is this guy getting these numbers from? I assume it's just a rough estimate, you know. If I don't like Hindus, if not, why? And if yes, why? I want to know about country and best place in your mind. I have no problem with Hindus. There's there's actually a pretty ornate Hindu temple near where I live that I went through. I've actually been through it a few times now. I don't know. I feel like there's like a cultural divide. You know, it's kind of difficult to find common ground. But just because our cultures are so different. But I have nothing bad to say about any Hindu person that I've ever met. Actually, dude, there's actually a branch here. There's a branch of Hinduism here that is like, to my understanding, somewhat Christian as well. And they actually had me go and sing. I went and performed. I went and sang in a Christmas concert they put on. That would have been like 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago now. And so I sang in that, and then I participated in just the rest of the program, and it was great. You know, I like the Hindu people. I don't know. As far as the best place in our country to go, I don't know, man. I grew up west, like in the deserty part of our country. So I would obviously recommend like Utah, and even, I don't know, Las Vegas is something you probably heard of, and it's something you got to go see, at least once in your life, just because it's very bright and flashy and cool, I guess. But I don't know. I haven't really been to the East much. I did go to Washington, D.C., like our nation's capital, and that was pretty cool. But I like where I live now. I like the people that live here. I feel like they're very genuine and nice. So this is where I want to live. I go like once in 5 months, just go and look at deities and take some free prasad to eat. Oh, I didn't know that you ate at the temple. The temple that I went to, there's like certain foods that you can give to the deities, I thought. Like you can leave money or leave certain types of food, and like depending on what you leave them and which deity it is, that you are like praying for certain blessings, or I don't know. That's what I remember from it. I just don't like superstition orthodoxy. Oh, you might have to elaborate on that. Do you have Instagram so that I can follow on Instagram? I mean, yeah, technically. I haven't really... I don't know where I'm going with my Instagram and like my other social media stuff. I don't even know where I'm going with YouTube, dude. Like, I've just got a lot of time on my hands right now, so, and I like talking to people, so. But I do have an Instagram. I have a podcast. I kind of did this podcast for a little bit. Maybe I'll keep it going in the future. Right now, I'm kind of on pause, but that was where most of my work was going for the last little while. But yeah, you got a professional setup, not gonna lie. I appreciate it, Spots. Yeah, that was so I actually built this room that I'm in. Like, it was literally a concrete box. And if you see an episode from my podcast, you'll see like the rest of the room. It's kind of divided into these two parts. But that's like really what I wanted to do, and I invested a lot in it, I really shelled out and like went all in on this podcast and like this setup and everything, because, and I don't know, like over the last 3 months, my life has just like 180'd. It's like it's been completely flipped upside down, and now I'm just like pausing on everything and just trying to figure out what is actually important and what I want to do. Hinduism is fine, but people become illogical and irrational in following religion sometimes, and also this pseudoscience where they give fake scientific explanation to religious practices. It's wild here. That's interesting that you say that, Kai. That's actually a lot of, because I think Christianity's the same way. And that's kind of like what I'm going through now. And if you know anything about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I would say, like, in my opinion, we're one of the most like hardcore Christian religions. Um, and I think that there's just been like a lot of traditional things that aren't rooted in reality that have like snuck their way into the religion. But but it's funny too because most other Christian religions don't even consider our religion Christian because of how different it is, which is kind of wild to me. So, did I get baptism? Like, did I get baptized? Yeah, I've been baptized. Most people in my religion are baptized when they're 8 years old. That's like, according to our religion, that's like around the age at which a person becomes accountable. And by that I mean like that's the age. Around that age is when we consider human beings to like have somewhat of a sense of what is right and wrong and can actually make a decision, like getting baptized. So some Christian religions like baptize babies, and we don't really agree with that because it's like you're making a covenant with God, and it's like, how does a baby make a covenant with God? It doesn't know anything. Am I religious? Yeah, I'm very, very, I would consider myself very religious. So how was your 3 days no speaking session, Moxie? Was that some kind of meditation? Yeah, that's really what it was about. You know, with all this, like, with all these things, like, really, you know, with my views changing on everything, I just was like, dude, I need some crazy extra guidance from God, and just like a lot of time to reflect. And so yeah, I literally just had like my scriptures and a notebook, and for 72 hours, like I just sat there and thought. I like to think. I went on a couple walks, but because I wasn't eating any food, I didn't want to like walk too much. But yeah, it was a very, very interesting experience. I wrote a lot of stuff down in my notebook, and I'm still thinking about like typing it all up and posting it somewhere, just in case people are interested. And but it also has a lot to it's a lot of it is rooted in the context of my religion, so it might not make a lot of sense to like somebody that isn't familiar with my religion. I don't know. Not everything that I wrote down falls under that category, but yeah, it was meditative. It was a spiritual thing. You're a really nice man who treats everyone equally, and please tell me your Insta so that I can follow you. My Insta is just the Moxie Moron Show. It looks exactly like my YouTube. I feel it. Hinduism has a lot of different philosophies, and all lies under the wider periphery of Hinduism, like sects. But in some cases, I have seen there is sectorial attrition and even violence. Yeah. And people would argue that there's violence in our past as well. There's not so much, I don't feel like there's much today. Although, depending on what conspiratorial rabbit holes you go down, you might think that there is still, but I do feel like there's still a lot of contention, you know? It's like, that's what I have a problem with. Is Jesus was like, you know, Jesus and Gandhi, I feel like were a lot on the same page, and they were just like after peace. And contention was like the opposite of what they were about. And people get confused because they think that like if they're contending in the name of Jesus, that it's okay, when I feel like that's just a direct contradiction. It's like, if you're contending, I don't care who you're contending for. I don't know. I feel like that's the problem with the world, is that people are just angry at each other. I don't... And we think that if it's over a religious matter, and if we, if we have the true religion, then we're justified in it. And I used to feel that way. That's how I grew up, and I just don't feel that way anymore. I think any true follower of Jesus Christ, like, just understands that everybody's different, and everybody learns things differently, and everybody is on a different page and at a different place. And if you're angry, you're losing. That's my motto. True, bro. I'm not an atheist, though. Whenever I'm confused in life, I stay alone and silent and hear my inner voice. Yeah, I think that that's a practice that goes overlooked, but is very powerful. And I think that there's a lot of truth to it. Tell me about your love story. Is that like how I met my wife? You're a great person. I love your personality a lot. Thank you for your information. You betcha, Chidora. Thanks for being here. I think Buddha also underwent same kind of no speaking session to get enlightenment. You have got some very interesting insight now about... Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was just talking to somebody else about that, is like, because that's kind of something that, like, is like not appreciated in my religion, in Christianity, really. Like, everybody's big on fasting in Christianity. Like, most people believe like that there's power in fasting, like, all about life. Yeah. But Christianity, like, most Christians see the value in fasting, like going without food or going without water. But they don't, but like the no speaking thing, they just view that as like a Buddhist thing. And they're like, well, we're not Buddhists, so that's not something we're going to do. And I just kind of was like, I don't care. Like, I don't feel like that practice should be attached to a certain religion. Like, if it works, it works. If it's valuable, it's valuable. If it provides people insight, then it provides people insight. And that's what I kind of arrived at, is like, there's a reason that the Buddhists are doing it. Like, if these vows of silence like didn't provide them value and clarity and like have a positive impact on their life, like, it wouldn't catch on. They wouldn't do it. And so to think that, like, oh, because we're Christian, that practice doesn't apply to us, I just think that's stupid. Hinduism and Buddhism has similar mute fasting thingy. Oh, I didn't know that. You guys like often practice, like, you also do these vows of silence? That's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, I mean, and even after I did that, like, I'm recommending it to people. It was extremely difficult. Like, without any distractions and with no talking and with no food, like, it's almost impossible for the average American to even do that, because like we have jobs and families and stuff we got to worry about. But I'm like, dude, if you can find, like, put yourself in a position to where you can do it, I think it would be good for anybody to do. Buddhism philosophy has made me change a lot and became a better person as a whole. Yeah, like, I think that there's so much truth in all religions. Americans place an exceptionally high value on individualism, privacy, and self-determination, the ability to choose their own career path, live without interference from others, and speak their mind. Yeah. Sort of. I think that we all want to believe that, but whether it's like actually being practiced that way, I think is debatable. I think that that's been a big part of my awakening here is like, I think that a lot of people think that we're the land of the free and that we get to choose our careers. And we do to a degree, but I still don't think that people, it's like you get to choose your own career as long as it provides the money that you need. It's not actually whether it's the career that you want to do. It's funny that you say that because every American's like, oh yeah, you get to, go live the American dream. You can go choose your job. You can go to school. You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. And yet everybody that you ask here, like I could go to just about anybody and be like, what's your dream job? And they would give me a dream job and it's not the job that they're doing. Like everybody says that you can go and do whatever you want in America, but nobody is doing what they actually want to do. So tell me how that makes sense. How much do I currently earn? I earn like almost nothing. I have like a part-time job right now. I just quit my last job. I have a part-time job and I don't make hardly anything. I make nothing from my social media, if that's what you're asking. My mom does that without water fasting. Yeah. Like in my religion, we'll do 24 hours without food and water. But because I was going to do this 3-day thing, I drank water because I think if you go 3 days without water, you are putting your life at risk. So do you actually, you earn my respect, bro. Well, thanks, Chidura. Your voice will be so good for podcast. I could listen to you all day. Well, I mean, that was the idea. Of course, I think a lot of it just has to do with like, good microphone. I think most people actually sound better than they think they do if they have good equipment. But I don't know. Where is that true? Most people anywhere in the world love their job to the point where they don't consider it a job anymore. I mean, I disagree. I don't know how I would be able to prove that, but I strongly disagree with that. But I mean, that was the idea. Invite me to your podcast. Hey, if you if you can if you've got the means to fly over to America and come to my studio, I'd have just about anybody on my podcast. So, but that's the thing is like I'm not even making episodes right now, so I can't really promise anything. But you do seem to know a lot about Indian history, which I do not know a lot about, so that could be interesting. I have been reflecting on, well, I don't know. philosophy I studied a lot. Yeah, I would say that that's also my strong suit. Even though I've never been to college ever. Have not gone a day in college or university. But I think religion and philosophy go hand in hand. In fact, I think they're kind of the same thing. If you go deep enough. And that is that's what I devote most of my time to, is just thinking and, I mean, studying my religion mostly, but I do have an appreciation for all religions. As I said, I think there is true principles in all of them. The more you study religions, world religions, the more I think that you'll find that they all stem from the same source. They all started out as the same thing. Like Philadelphia Convention, Boston Tea Party. Oh, really? Yeah, I just I actually didn't finish the book, but I read like halfway through a book that went into a lot of that part of American history, and it was pretty eye-opening to me, man. Just revolutions in general. Revolutions in general are such a crazy thing, dude. Like, I feel like they're not appreciated enough or talked about enough. "13 states that fought civil war." Yeah, like the fact that we had a civil war. And I think another civil war is on the horizon. Of course, I feel like many people in their countries feel like they're going to have a civil war soon as well. But I feel like the United States is on the verge of another civil war that is honestly going to be even worse than the first one. What are we talking about? Bro, we're talking about whatever you want. What are we talking about? You tell me. What should we talk about? We're talking about anything, dude. What's my real name? My real name is Kevin Siraj. Divisive politics are peaking everywhere. Yeah. I mean, you don't want to get me started on my doomsday preaching. Like, like according to my religion, at least my interpretation of my religion and my scriptures, like as far as prophecies go and what the scriptures say, I think that like the end of the world is like around the corner. Like it's very soon, but I know as soon as I start talking like that, I'm the crazy guy, but I don't know, dude. I don't care anymore. But that's kind of how things start out, is like every nation just is at each other's throats, and they're at their own throats, and that everybody is just like at war with each other. And I mean, you can see it today, like it's happening right before our very eyes. Can you wish me a happy birthday? Manny Kanta. I don't know if I say that right, but happy birthday. I hope it's an awesome birthday. Your birthday is the same as Indian Independence Day? Or is Indian Independence Day on the 15th? Why did I think that it was on the 15th? I just joined. Well, give us a topic, Mia. What are your questions? That's the title of my stream here. Just offering advice and opinions. People don't talk enough today. People don't just have conversations today, you know. Instead, we just spend all of our time sifting through reels, which most people in this chat probably just blow right on by, but I don't know. I like having conversations with people. Like, this is Exhibit A, is like, I know nothing about India, but the fastest way to learn it is actually talking to people that live in India, you know? Where is my gift? Bro, I can't send you anything. Or else I would. I doom scrolled back here. Wait a minute. Hold on. That can't possibly be true, Spots. Are you saying that you were on this stream and then scrolled down so far that you ended back up in the stream? I feel like that's not even possible. A kiss is a lot for me, bro. You're not getting a kiss. I'm sorry, buddy. That's crazy, Spots. But it must be a sign. It must be a sign for you to ask your questions. What's been on your mind, Spots? What is life's greatest mystery? No, that's possible. Happened with me before. Really? Like, you scroll down, you keep scrolling and scrolling, and you come across the same stream you've already scrolled past? That seems wild. What? Well, okay. Tell me, do I have my own house? I mean, yeah. I'm paying a mortgage on it. Might be a YouTube hint. A YouTube hint. Well, chat, tell me what do you think a good idea for a stream would be? I'm curious to hear what you guys would be interested in. And see if I have any interest in doing that. Because again, I really just enjoy coming on here and talking. About politics. But see, like, do people all over the world care about American politics that much? Like, Like, I'm going to be honest, I don't know hardly anything about politics at other places. Political religious debate, which makes people angry and ready to call you for a debate. Yeah, see, I would love to talk religion with people. That's my favorite thing to do. However, that's what it does, is makes people angry, and that's why I don't do it. Honestly, like the engagement I feel like is there if you're willing to tick people off. Like if you're willing to make people mad by arguing with them, I feel like the engagement is there. Like that's what people click on, is stuff that is like people getting mad at each other and arguing, but I don't think that's right. I'm not willing to do that. Who is best in your mind, Obama or Trump? You got to create a hook. This ain't it. Well, yeah. I see, that's what I'm saying, is I don't really care about engagement. I'm honestly not very concerned about people clicking on my stuff. I'm far more concerned about like providing something that's actually valuable, even if it's to one person, you know. Obama or Trump? I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's hard to say. I think that they're both not great. How's that? I think that they're both equally bad. But for very, very different reasons, I should say. If someone thinks he is perfect, scope for improvement vanishes. That's a fact. What is the biggest gift in your life given from another person? Oh boy, I don't know. I think one of the nicest things somebody did for me, like just something that was like very unexpected. There was a dude that used to watch like my Brawl Stars stream, like my video game streaming. And one day he donated like $1,400 to me. And I was like baffled. And he got a lot of he got like a ton of money because he got in this motorcycle accident and he was like horribly injured. But he got a bunch of money from it, and he gave me like $1,400, and it was more than that too. But I was just like, I was not a big streamer at all. So I was pretty surprised by that. Is this Mormon stream? I don't know, dude. What does that even mean? I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, yeah, but like I'm here talking about anything. Oaks for president. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if I would agree with that. If it's not Jesus for president, it's going to be tough for me to get behind whoever's running. Put some rubber bands on a watermelon, I guess. Dude, I saw that reel. The one where the dude like just puts bands on a watermelon until it explodes. That cracked me up. So you're brainwashed and delusional. No, I don't think so. I think people that like approach it that way seem to be more brainwashed and delusional than anybody that they think is brainwashed and delusional. People don't know here how much famous you were in Brawl Stars. Well, that's the thing. Like, that's what I'm saying is I wasn't even a big streamer. I guess like I was relatively, I wasn't like insignificant. Like I wasn't like a new streamer, but like I was not a big streamer by any margin. What is the first thing you would do if you were Elon Musk? I don't know how I would do it necessarily, but I would figure out the best way and the most productive way to give away my money. Like a lot of my money. You're an absolutely beautiful human being. No cap, bro. You're handsome as shiz. No weird she though. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope that well, yeah. Thanks. I'm not the one that believes a snake talked and a man lived in the belly of a fish. I don't believe that either. I respect you, bro. Don't pay mind to the haters. I'd debate with you, but that never accomplishes anything. Can't convince anyone of anything, even if I show chapter, verse, etc. to debunk LDS. Like, so what? Yeah, that's kind of the thing that I'm at, bro. Like, I just see, not even like 2 years ago, I'd be like, dude, let's debate. Let's bust out the scriptures, dude. But it doesn't, because people interpret things differently. Like, and that's what I feel like is still being underestimated, is just how different. Like I used to be just like everybody else that like reads a verse or reads anything or watches something or whatever it is and be like, dude, how can you not believe? Like, how can you misunderstand this scripture? How can you read this scripture and interpret it the way that you're interpreting it? But now I'm just like, dude, people do. And if as soon as I feel that way, like, I don't know, that's not humble. And that all it does is just cause division, and it doesn't give people the benefit of the doubt. And we're just all different, dude. We all read things differently. We all understand things differently. We grew up differently. So I don't believe the Bible. I don't believe the Bible is totally accurate, no. And there's a lot of things in the Bible, like the story of Adam and Eve, that are allegories and not literal. What is your opinion about illegal aliens entering the country the wrong way? That's a tough one, man. In fact, we kind of talked about this earlier, but it's just impossible to navigate correctly. It's case by case, bro. I think that there are truly a lot of people that are in need to be here and find refuge and call it illegal. Yeah, if everything was perfect, then yeah, everybody should enter countries legally and the way, the right way. But, when your life is on the line or whatever it is, like, that may not always be an option. And the problem is that I think that people that have malicious intent take advantage of that fact. And how do you separate the two? How do you go? It has to be case by case, and it's just impossible to do that. If there's like millions of people entering your country illegally, and you have to like thoroughly interview each one of them and find out if they are like malicious people or not, like, I don't know. I think we do the best that I think that people should just do the best that they can to treat human beings as human beings. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I find debating stupid. Say, for example, someone doesn't agree with you arguing about it. It isn't going to make them change if they're truly passionate over it. Yeah, and I feel like people sometimes are affected by good debate. Otherwise, people wouldn't watch it. And sometimes you get, every once in a Chinese New Year, you have somebody switch sides because of an argument, but it hardly ever happens. And I believe that actions speak louder than words. And if what people say, if people's arguments are actually true, then their actions should prove it and not their words. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do now, is like put my arguments and like my this aggressive offense on the back burner and try to be a person that promotes peace rather than just like saying that I do, I get what you're saying, but there definitely is only one God. Yeah, but see, then it's about semantics. In fact, that's what I'll also say about arguments. In fact, every argument, religious, political, it always comes down to semantics that are not objective. Because definitions to words are subjective, all of these arguments boil down to a semantic issue. Because when you say that there's only one God, then you have to define what a God even is. And that's a subjective matter. You have to define the word God. And because I can say like, well, there is only one God, but it's three different entities. And it's like, well, no, the Bible doesn't say that. And it's like, I don't know. It's a semantic issue. It always is. It's like if you believe that God is, depending on what you believe a God is, or who or what God is, it's like, okay, yeah, no. My definition of what God is will never fit yours. But at the end of the day, that's what it is just our interpretations of words. So I believe any of it? That's a good question. And I would just say that it's like, why believe anything? I think that there are things in the Bible that provide that I personally feel like there is a lot of evidence to support a lot of certain things contained in the Bible, whether it be stories or accounts or just principles that I have found to be true. And that's prone to change. That's the other problem I think is happening today, is that like we get so locked in on a belief, and it's like as soon as new evidence comes forth, that we're so locked in on our previous belief or our previous way that we're not willing to bend. And I don't think that that's constructive at all. I think that's destructive. And so like I have a lot of current beliefs about the Bible, and I have no reason to believe that they would ever change. But I would never be so prideful as to say that it can't ever change. And that like literally goes for anything, really. I think there are better ways to deal with it rather than the aggressive ways some of them do come over. Right. There absolutely are. The whole Jewish Shema, hear, O Israel, your God is one, and ye shall have no other God beside him. Yeah, it's semantics, bro. And especially, see, and that's like, that gets really hairy because then you're arguing over it's ambiguous enough to argue over semantics in the modern English language over words that everybody is familiar with. It's a whole other ball game to argue over semantics of words that were written in languages that almost nobody speaks today and were written in contexts of like thousands of years ago, in cultures that existed thousands of years ago. Like, we're so we like to think that we know, like, that we know everything that there is to know about history, and we know so little, bro. But we argue to the death like we do know. And I don't think that's a good practice. After the Spain thing, I saw it was like a zombie apocalypse. The Spain thing. I'll be honest, if you want to go to a true ideological standpoint, I believe in one God, but evidence points to there being more than one God when you look at history. For all we know, there could be a guy walking around the world named Jesus Christ telling people he's Jesus Christ and everyone calling him crazy, and it could be true. You never know nowadays. Right, like that's true. It could be. And it just depends on what you've studied and what you have been taught and what you've experienced. I am under the impression that that it will be made clear to people that are truly humble and seek to follow Christ at any cost. And so like I won't have to just like, it won't be like me running into like the fact that Jesus Christ allegedly states in the Bible that he won't be walking around among men makes me believe that he won't be, that he'll, you know, descend from on high when he comes back. But how do I know that account of Jesus saying that is even true? You know, I don't know. I wasn't there. That's just what I'm going off of, and that's just what I am inclined to believe. You know, I don't know. If you can't give a reason to believe, then you don't really believe it, do you? And yeah, so then you have to define what you mean by believe. Those are the other words that we use a lot in religion, is like we know something, or we have faith in something, or we believe something, or we have hope in something. And those are all different words. And I think that it's like we think that it's as simple as just going to Webster's dictionary and being like, well, this is what believe means. And I don't think it's that simple. Everybody understands words differently, slightly differently. In ancient history, religious scriptures were organic documents which tried to absorb values, but once it becomes rigid, it becomes outdated. Yeah, I think that there's some truth to that. I think it would be naive to think that that can't be the case. If you want to be very, very specific about religion, go look at how many old scriptures in countless of countries consist of seeing multiple divine beings called gods. And gods in actual history were not described as nice people. They were described as horrible people. Yeah, dude, like that's the thing that's happening today is like with all this alien talk too, and even biblical accounts, like even the Book of Mormon. Like there's so many things that suggest that there are like, even from, take religion out of it, even from a philosophical standpoint, like you have to assume that we're not the only beings in the universe. And as soon as you cross that line, like, you know, there could be beings that wanted to convince humanity that they were gods, but that actually weren't. Like, dude, we just have no idea. Oh, we're so dumb, dude. We're so ignorant. We're so ignorant, but we carry ourselves like we know it all. And see, the thing is that's not to say that you shouldn't believe in anything. You know, if you didn't believe in anything, you can't live. You don't live life. But to carry ourselves like we know these things and there's no changing it and nothing is going to prove it wrong is like, that's where I feel like contention happens. That's literally why I feel like wars are started. The polytheism versus monotheism debate. Yeah, it's like, is there one God, or is there multiple gods, or is there one God? And depending on what a God is, can he manifest himself in different ways? And then it's like, if you're manifesting yourself in different ways, is that technically multiple gods? Or is it just one God that's it's like, it's semantics, dude. It's always semantics. All I remember is they said the world will suffer before anything good happens. Currently, like 90% of where I live is burning and in a drought. Yeah, and if you ask me personally, I think it's going to get worse and worse. Really, it's going to get really bad. But then it will be better than it ever has been. And that's what I'm looking forward to, personally. But that could just be a lofty dream of mine. Call it brainwash, you know? What's up, McCoy? Welcome to the stream. I'll say my theory, and people don't have to agree, but a god in my eyes back then could have been a person that does things that looked impossible, and people worshipped said person. And before I even read your next comment, I think that another person that fits that description is going to show up sooner than later. The prophesied Antichrist, which I think is coming from off-world. Like, he's an alien, a different species than human. But that's just my crazy idea. And then I believe after worshiping said person, they found out the person was not a good person, but due to immense loyalty and faith, spread the message, and that's where religion builds. Yeah, that's an interesting take. If I put on costume, am I a different person? No. But you might appear to people to be a different person. I like to do this. I take Egypt, Mayans, Greeks, and Norse and look at how they have a god for each category: death, war, love, hate, etc. It kind of all leads to the idea a god covers different categories. Yeah, and that's what I was saying before, is like, I personally believe that the deeper you look into every world religion, the more you start to see that they all stem from the same source. Like, as diverse as religions are today, the closer you look at them, I feel like, just according to my limited knowledge, I feel like they point to the same source, same thing. It's like the same story being told in very, very different and various ways. But I mean, I'm not a religious expert. But that's the thing, dude, is like, what's the cost? Is like, if we don't see it that way, the alternative is that we're like getting ticked at each other. And we're like painting each other out to be these evil people. It's like, and I don't think anybody is evil. That's one of my hot takes, which is surprising that it's even a hot take, honestly. But I truly don't believe that anybody is evil. I think that good people do really, really bad things because we live in a terrible world and we've created a terrible society that drives people to do really bad things when we all just want the same thing. Humans need something to believe in. Yeah, like that's what I was saying before, is like, if you don't have faith in something, you don't actually do anything. Religions are diverse today because people try changing how they were truly made. The stories are the same because they traveled with folks as they migrated, and these stories changed to reflect the culture they were in. Yeah, I agree. Back in that time, these people probably would not like gay people because they see it as one sexuality, etc. People have always been horrible. The internet just made us more aware. Well, that's the thing. I think that we've always lived in a fallen world, but I don't think that any human being like is inherently evil. I don't think that any human being starts out wanting to watch the world burn and just cause mayhem and be evil. I think that there are people that do those things, that do start wars and do these terrible, terrible acts and do these horrible things, but they all stem from them them wanting, like them having good intentions. And I shouldn't even say that. It's just people's needs not being met. That they are then either tricked or deceived or coerced into doing things that they think are right, that they think will bring them satisfaction, or that they think will bring them joy, or whatever it is that they think it will do, and that's why people do these terrible things. You know, I don't think that anybody just like is born like out of the womb just, I want to destroy the human family. It's people starving for human connection that, you know, I watched this. There was like an episode of a podcast that I watched one time and they were interviewing it was like an ex-member of a Mexican drug cartel that was like, and he said something like, he said every person is 10 bad steps away from killing someone. And that's what it is, dude, is like you don't think that, but everybody, literally everybody is only 10 bad decisions. And, you know, maybe it's not 10, but it's just like a certain amount of bad decisions away from doing something horrific. You know, you don't just wake up and kill somebody, but one thing leads to another, and then you do something that, you know, I don't know. I think you get what I'm trying to say. I agree, but also I have a thing. I believe these people don't deserve to not be treated normally. They deserve to be treated in a way that can help their health. Oh, I absolutely agree. What I'm going to say is bad, but for example, people that like younger people, these people may not be born like that, but they do these things, get sent somewhere worse, and does it help? No, it makes them bad. No, I know exactly what you're saying, and I completely agree. And it's sad. It's actually heartbreaking that that's not the popular opinion. It's sad that we feel the need to like exterminate a group of people that we disagree with or that we don't like what they're doing, instead of trying to solve the problem. We don't try to solve the problem. We just try to eradicate it. And look how well it's working, dude. It just creates more. It's like chopping the head off of a hydra. The Joker said all it takes is one bad day. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Regular family or nuclear family? You know, I've been coming across that term, the nuclear family. Elaborate. Give me a little bit more of an explanation on what those two things are. I can't answer because I don't feel that I'm educated enough on what exactly those two things are and how they contrast. I worked in an institute and those folks were living it up. Sure, they had to have staff with them one-on-one 24/7, but they could have rights. Sure, they had to have staff with them one-on-one 24/7, but they could have rights. Oh boy, yeah, that's an intense situation. Well, actually, I don't know if I'm totally understanding that. I don't know if I'm totally picking up what you're putting down there, but if I am, that's a hard situation to navigate. But people don't realize taste comes down from bloodlines a lot. You go back in history, they dated younger people a lot, and I agree they shouldn't do it. But when they do, there's better ways to help. In Sweden, they are closing down prisons because of how good their prisons were for rehabilitation. Their crime rate is absurdly low, too. Yeah, dude, like, that's one of the things. Like, I'm not going to say that I have the right answer. But we just like picked a number. We just picked a number and said, if you abide by this, we encourage it and we love you and do that. And if you don't abide by it, even by like freaking a day, then not only are you a bad person, but like it's literally worthy of death. You have to die. And yeah, I don't know. All I'm saying is that there is a we're just living in a messed up world, dude. That's all I'll say about that. A nuclear family is a term they used in the 50s. It meant a mom, dad, 2.5 kids, a dog, and a white picket fence. A regular family is just any family. Yeah, I grew up under the impression of like the nuclear family was the goal. I still think just trying to choose my words carefully here. There's still a lot of the modern agenda that I don't agree with, but I do not believe in the nuclear family. I believe that the nuclear family is like a microcosm or like a prototype of what is supposed to be. It's like the building block. It's like step 1 in what is supposed to be. It's not actually the final goal. I believe that there are rules around familial relations and just human relations, period. The idea that there is no rules and that you can just do whatever you want, I don't agree with. But I also don't agree that like the father, the mother, and the couple of kids is like the end goal, is the end game, and is the perfect, I don't think that we've seen the familial relation that that human beings have potential to live in. I have some crazy ideas surrounding that I probably won't get into here, but you're picking up the clients there did bad things and they got to go to a place where they had all the comforts of home. It wasn't rehabilitation. It was an easy way for them to avoid prison. Which, yeah, like that doesn't help anybody either. Like that's not helping anybody. Yeah, that's not really seeking to make a correction either. I think that action needs to be taken for sure, but like just eradicating, I don't know. That seems barbaric to me. And even then, some countries still don't agree on the number. So like, yeah, dude, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, the entire country of whatever is just, they're all Satan. They're all demons. And America, we have set the correct number, and we, that's a bunch of crap. There's a very clear difference between, like I said, there are rules. Do not misunderstand. There are rules. But just because we say that we know just because we establish them doesn't make them objectively on point. And I think that there are, biologically, that a lot of the rules that we have don't make sense, but I feel like are there to err on the safe side of things, which that's why I support our laws. But I just don't support how we treat it. Many of us did believe in the idea of a nuclear family until I spent time with my family. I cut them off and have chosen a family and have a chosen family. The nuclear family idea was pushed by the government back in the day. Yeah, it's because that's, what is family, dude? We think that just because it's biological, that it also has to be like this spiritual bond. And it's like, who said that? Maybe there's an element of that, but like, I don't know. You ask questions and are thoughtful. You give me hope. Well, that's good. I think there's a lot of hope that's lacking today. So, one thing about the UK, we have indecent versus prohibited images, right? Prohibited is animated manga, etc. Indecent is real. Now you can make and distribute prohibited. That includes a sex offense registry and etc. Wait, what? That's... Yeah, see, like... Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's obvious that... I do strongly believe that we're on the road to making a mockery of sacred things. But again, I would almost say like the bigger problem is how we're treating it and how we treat people, how we see people, how we treat the situation. I was a military brat, so I didn't grow up with my biological family. We came back and my cousins were sick frocks. So I cut that branch off the family tree. My chosen family are my non-bio sisters. We've all been close since high school. Yeah, it's like that's what, if your biological family, like you share that bond with them and you trust them and like your biological family is a safe space, then like more power to you, dude. Like I'm glad that your family is that way and you did not draw the short straw, but like to say I don't like that like we give our family members these hall passes that we don't give everyone. I mean, I like to believe I'm a pretty devout Christian, and that has never lined up with the teachings of Jesus, in my opinion. Is like we say things like, "Oh, well, they're my brother, dude," or "They're my dude, that's my dad." Like that's my mom, bro. Like, and I'm like, dude, who cares? I mean, if we're all humans, everybody is a person. We're all living life. If everybody has the same value, then there should be no like special treatment for certain people just because you're biologically related to them. That doesn't make any logical sense to me. Which means that it's like, okay, so then what's your family? And it's like the people that you are safe around and that you have connection with. Which I too have found that to exist outside of my biological family and maybe to some degree inside my biological family as well. But like, there's no automatic, I don't know. I don't have any evidence to support that it has to be that way as far as biological family goes. By the way, 99% of prisons in the UK are full, so they've been letting out people with life sentences on accident because it's a wreck. Oh, gosh. That's not good. After what I've heard about some people, they genuinely do need to be locked up. I have a Mormon sister, an atheist sister, 3 pagan sisters, and they are there for me and vice versa. Yeah, that's what I am, is Mormon. But I have very, very, very unconventional beliefs about the religion. So I feel pretty isolated. But maybe other people in the religion do too. I don't know. My big half-sister didn't visit me when I spent a year in the hospital, but my chosen sisters drove up 4 states to see me. Yeah, like that's, what's family, dude? What's family really at that point? I don't know, chat. I think I'm a little burnt out at this point. I'm Irish Catholic. Oh, good for you. I might like to hear another day about what that even means. Like how a Catholic is different from an Irish Catholic. Just the fact that you're from Ireland. My Mormon has shared a lot about the LDS. Yeah, so I mean, and I'd probably tell you a lot of different stuff than she would. But that's the beauty of it, dude. Like we're all different. We all interpret things differently. We all learned things at different times and in different ways. And so like to think that we should all just be like, the only thing that we need to be united in is the fact that we're not united, dude. That we're different. And in that way, we can be united. Yeah, welcome back, Chidura. I am probably going to end the stream here. But I enjoyed the conversation. I'm glad that you guys showed up and participated. This is the first stream that I've done like this, and you never know how it's going to go. But I just like talking to people, and so I hope to have more of these. most of my streams, I mean, I'm reading through the entire Book of Mormon, so I don't know. That's not as interesting to people, but I do plan to have more of these streams as well. So hope I see you guys again. Yeah. Everybody's different, dude. Just freaking be nice to people. And hopefully I'll see you later.